Today I want to talk about scope creep, and as a testament to how easy it is to do, I'm going to talk about the way that I'm scope creeping on my current game, which is actually just meant to be a visual prototype in order to gauge appeal for the concept of my game and the visual style that I'm thinking that I can, extend on, reproduce, that kind of thing. So for this game, I'm creating a beautiful environment, and that's the bulk of it. I'm adding pieces of set dressing that I think are visually interesting and that create a feeling of more depth and expansiveness to the world. And my initial idea was that you are a character on a fixed plot of land, like a 10 meter by 10 meter, 20 meter by 20 meter square, and that's like your home base, and that's where you do your life simming. So you buy furniture in there and you place it and you live your life, you take care of yourself, and you just basically don't leave. You might call out for things and then they get delivered to your mailbox or whatever. You put things in your mailbox to send them out, shipping, selling things, and that's the concept of it. And you just look out and it's an interesting, beautiful place where you're living your life on this one spot, this one plot of land. However, the more I've made this beautiful space, the more that I've felt like I want to interact with it. And the more I'm like, okay, well, if I want to interact with it, players are going to want to interact with it. And so now I'm starting to edge into how can I add that interactability. First, I added a second list in my Trello for technical prototype extensions. Carrot, can you please not? Sorry, she just started coughing under me. Anyway, things like technical extensions, like maybe instead of being limited to the box that is your plot of land, maybe I extend the clickable, navigatable area to walk down the hill towards the bay, and maybe you can walk up to the town, maybe you can walk by the sheep. And then there's extra conditions with that, I would need to be able to detect clicks on the entire terrain instead of just the extra collision body that I put on the floor in your plot of land. And you would have to have the camera be able to move. Right now the camera has a fixed height, just off of X or Y equals 0. So it's an offset of that. But we would want it to, if we're moving around in the space, we would want it to follow the height of the ground. So if you're actually 10 meters off the ground, you would go down to -5 if you went to altitude -15, that kind of thing. So some complexity there. I had this idea that you would maybe, as a stretch, if this happened and you could walk around in the world more, you could walk by the fence line of where the sheep are, and that maybe the sheep would start to follow you, because I thought that'd be really cute. Because it's very easy to say if you get within 5 meters of the fence, so maybe if there's a path along the fence and you get on the path, the sheep detect it and they're attracted to your location until you leave that proximity, so they just follow you, and it's really cute. And because of that mindset, even though I'm still just working on the visual prototype, and even though you're supposed to be just in your plot of land that you live in, so today I was working on adding in the sheep. I've been working on the sheep for a couple days, and I was doing some animations for the sheep and asking myself how much detail needs to be here. Legitimately, I have an animation with grazing, and I added a mesh for grass that shows up in the sheep's mouth after they dig their nose around on the ground, and then they lift up with it to eat it. And the grass does like a animation while it's getting chewed, and then it disappears. And it's just like a rectangle, a cube stretched. And I was like, should I add more detail? Should I give it some blades of grass? Like, how much detail does it need? And I spent so long on this sheep making it seem accurate with like all its deformations as it moves with its skeleton, that is just like, if we stay in our plot, and I tested this, if you stay within your plot, you can't even tell if they're not animated at all. Like, you could literally just not animate them and just have them be static standing meshes that just like get dragged along along the ground, and you can't tell the difference. They look like they walk because you just assume they're walking. They're just white blobs and you don't really notice anything else from that far. But I added a bunch of detail, and now I'm like, I want to add more animations to the sheep. I want to give them different like walks, so maybe like one of them walks normal and one of them does more of like a little bounce and like make it really cute. I've been thinking about. And I was talking in a stream today about the sheep in general, not about this idea of more animations, and the idea that the sheep might follow you. And the stream consensus was, sorry, Carrot's getting settled under the table. Okay, she's fine now. The stream consensus was you have to be able to pet the sheep. You can't just have them follow you. You have to like walk up and do a petting them animation. And I agree, you should be able to do it if you're like getting that close. I feel like I would want to be able to pet the sheep, and if people are going to want to see that, like, I will give it to them. But my scope, I think it's really great. I really like all these additions and I like where this is going, but my scope. My original plan for this game, my original idea was that it was not just going to be knitting, but it was also going to be gardening / farming, like small scale farming and animal husbandry. So you raise sheep to get the wool, and then you grow flowers to get dyes, and then you knit yarn that you've crafted from wool, and then dye that yarn before you knit it, and then you like knit things and you sell the thing. So it's like a lot more complicated, and now I'm like, just with all the little things that sound awesome, like I'm really excited for, that make it a more interesting and complex life sim, and like not even a complex life sim, but just like a complex game. Knitting is like plenty plenty to do in this game. It's so much already. I'm like, I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be really good. I'm excited to keep working on it, and a little bit like why, like, I feel bad because I wish I had more time to work on it, because I'm on vacation right now, but I'm gonna be going back to work, and then it's gonna really slow down. But I'm excited for it, but like that's part of the scope creep. And I guess maybe at this stage where it's a prototype, scope creep isn't really a thing. But like I would hope, if anything, like the concept's getting smaller, but it's not. It's getting bigger, getting more complex. But the things we talk about here, like if I make 2 more walking animations for the sheep and then write an extra piece of randomizing to pick between the different walking animations, and then I just like make an animation for petting and being pet, and some sort of like position targeting to like pull the hand up to where the sheep's head is for the pet to always work, and then adding a detection for like the height of the ground for the camera, which could just be a raycast, like really simple. Like that would all be fine. And I'm just a little my scope. It's okay though. I think it'll be good. And I will figure out as I'm setting up this prototype what's worth doing. And if I make a really beautiful visual prototype, I can still make an estimate that like the game that would be like needing this visual prototype, the game that would evolve from this, I could still say that's too big of a scope for the level of interest and then cull it back a bit. Like that's absolutely within like the range of things that I would do to like as I'm developing this and understanding it more. But it's just like a testament to how quickly these things get out of hand. But yeah, so here's to some more scope creeping in the future. Coda said, my husband said he'd be interested in if you can like meet other people in the town, like the town shouldn't be empty, it should have NPCs walking around. And I agree, and so now there's gotta be like multiple different character meshes and they all need their own clothes. And then ways to interact with each other and some animations for that, and maybe like a relationship system, not like dating necessarily, but like at the very least you should have people that like you've reached a certain amount of friendship with, that you're like maybe get different interaction options with them, or maybe like interactions just end up being more positive, or something could happen with that. I'm really not sure. Yeah, and then, God, what else? There's another... I mean, I just think in general, like, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, I do think my needs system wasn't complicated enough. It was just hunger, sleeping, and comfort, but expanding it to hygiene and bladder and fun and social level would be requiring being able to talk to people or sheep or something. Yeah, it's just interesting. And then, I mean, people could really, like, maybe they're like, well, if I'm by the water, why can't I swim? And I'd be like, because it's Iceland and it's cold, but it's an interesting point. Why can't I boat? Why can't I ride a bike? A bike would probably be fine. We'll see. But I'm really thinking, like, for this visual prototype, for creating marketing material, having the camera be able to go around the whole island and get different angles, having the character be able to walk around to the whole island and interact with things everywhere would be compelling. Like, I would think so. If I saw a video advertising this game and it was like a woman walking along a fence and then the sheep are following her, and then in the next shot she's petting the sheep and it's like looking really cute, and there's like a bunch of other ones like waiting to also get pet, like that would be really nice. I feel like that would be really good. So I mean, I want to make a good game. I want to make a game that's like reasonable size, but I'm also a bit like, I'm a hobbyist. Does it need to be reasonable size? Can't I just do whatever I want? Like, I want to finish it at some point, but I also want to make something people care about. And I feel like I, at this point, more want people to like my game than to just finish a game, if that makes sense. Like, I've finished a lot of games. I've made a lot of games in my life. I don't really feel like I need to finish another one that no one gives a shit about. I would much rather keep exploring ideas until there is one that people care about, and then finish it. So, I think I'm on the right track. Alright, that's it for today. Bye.